Okay, so Joyous Japan. This is my first fan formula video. Thought I'd join the craze. Okay, so on to question one. The first chronodrama is fast becoming a highly discussed topic in Romain Grosjean's 2012 career. What do you make of his incident today and in relation to his previous first corner incidents in the season? With Romain, it's tricky because he's been involved in, I think, 7 first lap incidences and another one on his second lap. But granted, not all were his fault. Australia was Maldonado's fault. Malaysia, that was Grosjean's fault. I mean, there are people who say it's a easy mistake to make, a simple misjudgment. The track conditions were hard. And yeah, fine, they were, but no one else made that really easy mistake. So, it wasn't justified at all. I mean, he was the only one who made that big of a cock-up really there, and he ruined the race of someone who was going to have a promising race. I think perhaps if he had gotten a penalty then, that would have been a pretty early wake-up call for him. And also he had the audacity to sort of afterwards blame the other guy when he went into the back of him. Anyways, Monaco, not Grosjean's fault at all, really. I'm a fan of Alonso, but it was his fault, really. I do believe it was, and I think he should have been investigated. If you think I'm insane, watch the onboard cameras from that race, and what you can see is a gap between Hamilton and Grosjean, and the gap's not big enough to fit a Formula 1 car. Nevertheless, Alonso tries putting his there, and the criticism was that you see Grosjean turning into Schumacher, but he was only doing that because Alonso wasn't giving him much space on the right, and of course Schumacher had no space to give him because he's right next to the wall, and so yeah, that wasn't his fault. The big one, Belgium. I mean, we're lucky in Formula 1 that we haven't had a death or we haven't had death in a long time, and we have very few truly serious accidents, and we're very lucky for that, and we're all very thankful. But that day, we came very close to that, and I think it's good that the FIA did treat that very seriously and did give a harsh penalty. And people were getting angry because they're saying, well, why only give him a penalty because the race leader? It's like, that wasn't, let's be honest, he almost decapitated Alonso, unintentionally, granted, but he still almost did that. So I was expecting a 10-place grid penalty, but I guess the 1 race ban makes sense, gives him time to reevaluate what just happened and reevaluate his driving style and perhaps sort that out, which clearly it didn't, because here we are again, discussing Grosjean again, discussing his first lap incidences again, and this time again I feel like he ruined the races of more than one driver. It was a stupid mistake, it was really stupid, it was a misjudgment, but a really silly one at that, and Webber was totally justified to be that angry. I mean, I think what he said was very harsh, and I do agree perhaps Webber moans a little bit too much, but he was justified to be angry because he qualified second. He should have been on the podium. His car was definitely fast enough to end up on the podium, and his race was ruined by Grosjean making a silly mistake. And then that chaos ended up bunching up the pack, and Bruno Senna took the wrong line completely and ended up going to the back of Nico, and that ruined Nico's race because he was out. And then Bruno Senna got a penalty, and that ruined his race. So Grosjean ruined the race of 3 people that day, and himself. So I think it's completely justified to be angry at him after that. And it's kind of annoying that everyone's constantly defending him while simultaneously throwing eggs at Maldonado. I mean, granted, fair enough, Maldonado's had a lot more crashes, and it looks like his are sort of intentional, which is ridiculous because no driver actually, no driver intends to take themselves out of the race unless they're actually cheating for whatever reason. And I think, the difference is everyone is getting angry at Maldonado as soon as he has an incident, but Grosjean, people seem to justify him, and they feel, and I actually feel bad for him as well. He looks very sad in front of the cameras, and he clearly realises what he's doing is wrong. He's not enjoying himself because he's ruining his races as well. Everyone's angry at him. He's clearly sad. And I recognise that, and I do feel bad for him, but it doesn't justify what he's doing. It doesn't justify the fact that he's actually ruined quite a few people's races this year, and I feel even worse for them, because what did they do wrong? So, yeah, I think it's kind of unfair how they give Romain almost sort of special treatment in regards to, sort of, compared to Maldonado, who everyone suddenly hates. When, can I just say, Maldonado has a race win, and in a slower car, may I add. As the thing, Grosjean doesn't have the results to back up his mistakes. Whereas, like, you look at a race like Sergio Perez, he's made quite a few mistakes, like little ones this year, but his results have more than sort of made up for them. I think the issue with Grosjean, though, is actually he doesn't have. Most drivers, they sort of have that fear of, if I do something wrong, if I perform badly, I'll lose my seat. And Grosjean doesn't really. There's never been a doubt about his seat really at all, because of Eric Boulier, if I pronounce that right, being his manager, and sort of he likes Romain a lot, and he intends to keep him, and so he's pretty confident that he still has a seat in Lotus. And I think because he doesn't have that fear of almost like, if he doesn't sort it out now, he'll lose a seat, because he doesn't have that. I think perhaps that does play a big part in sort of his ethos and his driving style. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. I mean, I hope he does sort out whatever it is causing these incidents, because it would be nice to actually see these claims of how amazing a driver he is, actually, for us to be able to see them each race weekend, and for him to not ruin his race and anyone else's race. I mean, who wants that? And yeah, so I hope he does work it out rather than just get banned, because that would be kind of sad. Question 2. Which overtake particularly impressed you in the race, and why? Pretty easy one, I guess. It would have to be Perez's overtake on Hamilton. The first one, not the second. That was not a good one. But the first one, it was just flawless. It was well executed. He didn't waste any time behind Hamilton. I wouldn't say it was too aggressive, like some people have been saying. Like I said, it was just flawless. It was the perfect overtake, and sort of big props for that. Of course, he sort of ruined that by parking himself in the barriers a few laps later, but yeah, best overtake, I reckon. Question 3. Who was your driver of the day, and why? It's actually a pretty hard one, because it has to be between Kamui or Felipe. Fantastic to see Kamui on the podium. I think he's a really entertaining driver, I really do. I think he's one of the most entertaining drivers, despite the fact that he doesn't always get the best results. I always enjoy watching him race. But then he did qualify. He qualified well, and he finished well. So I guess, it was a good, solid performance from him. And in that last few laps, sort of defending, fending off Button, that must have been a lot of pressure, and to not have to crack under that was impressive. And I'm so happy to see him on the podium, the Japanese fans cheering his name. That was amazing. But Felipe did qualify worse than him and ended up second, and sort of we were doubting sort of how good the Ferrari was at this track. And I mean, the only way you could describe Felipe's race this weekend was flawless. It was absolutely flawless, and to see him back on the podium was very emotional. Made my day. Made my week. I'm still happy from it, and so I'm really happy for him. So I have to say Felipe just about clinches the driver of the day title for me. So the bonus question about would these results sort of save, was it the race brought great finishing positions for Massa and Kobayashi? Do you think this saved their F1 race seats, or do you think it's a little too late? I hope it's not too late. I thought from before the summer holidays, I've been thinking, I think Felipe's seat is safe, despite all the rumours. And so yeah, so I think Felipe's safe. I honestly do. Plus, there's not many drivers that sort of, you're not going to find a lot of drivers who take the number 2 role as well as Felipe does. In fact, most drivers who go there, they go there going, yay, Ferrari, and then they sit there moaning about how they're the number 2 driver, which is just ridiculous, because you know how Ferrari do things. I mean, what were you expecting? And Felipe takes it with a smile on his face, and he goes, it's what's best for the team. And, he's probably one of the best people you can have for a team, because he puts the team before himself, and that is a truly admirable trait. And I think Ferrari would have actually a hard time replacing him there. With Kobayashi, it was looking like Sauber was sort of tired of him, but I think perhaps this might have put him back in the race for the seat, and I like to think that he was going to keep it. I hope he does. He's a good driver, like I said, extremely entertaining to watch, and yeah, so I hope he keeps his seat, and I think he will. I think it'll be him and hopefully Alguersuari in the 2013 Sauber team. So that's my fan Formula video done. Thank you for listening. If you didn't, whatever. Okay.